everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my channel. I am preparing to head off to Springfield Castle in just a couple of weeks now, and I need to somehow pack 7 historical costumes into one suitcase. And moreover, this suitcase has to not exceed 20 kilograms. So today we are going to do a test pack for my Ireland trip for Springfield Castle, and hopefully I will be able to fit everything that I need for all of our photo shoots, because we have a different costumed photo shoot every single day in our Springfield Castle trip. And we need to somehow fit all of that into this one bag and keep it under the weight limit for Ryanair, because I'm also going to London beforehand and I'm flying Ryanair from London to Ireland, which I know is probably not the best idea, and that makes my luggage limit really, really small. Now, the idea here is that all of the clothes that I'm going to be wearing in like London or for other purposes in Ireland, as in this sort of everyday type of clothes, non-costume, all of those need to fit in my carry-on bag, like a rolling carry-on bag. And we are going to get all of the costumes into the big checked bag, and we probably still need to at least leave room for like sunscreen as well, because I know that that can't go in my carry-on. So let's go ahead and see how we can manage to fit this many costumes in this little amount of space. Now, of course, this is further complicated by the fact that I am both tall and plus size. Therefore, my costumes are bigger than a lot of people's costumes. And I wear a size 12 shoe. Size 12 shoes take up so much space. So what we're going to do here is we are going to try to find as much like double duty as we can for these costumes, particularly when it comes to footwear, so that we can save on some of that excess space needed, again, particularly for the footwear. The other thing that we have to keep in mind here is headwear, because hats take up a lot of room as well. Now, the costume plan for this trip, I'm just going to read it off my phone. We have Outlander, which you will have seen me really recently make on this channel. We have Bustle era. That's going to be the hardest because Bustle takes up the most amount of space due to the undergarments, specifically the petticoats, not really like the lobster tail or anything, but the petticoats take up a lot of room. And we also have Generic Fantasy, which in my case is going to be Hobbit. And I'm hoping that Hobbit won't take up a lot of room because it's a Hobbit, it's pretty small. And we also have Regency. We chose Regency specifically because it doesn't tend to take up a lot of room, so that should be okay. We have Renaissance, which you saw me make really recently on this channel. That one shouldn't be too bad because the dress itself doesn't take up that much room. And we have Chemise à la Reine, which can kind of do double duty with some of the other costume pieces, like borrowing the undergarments from the 18th century, etc. And we have 19 teens or Titanic era. Those again don't really tend to take up a lot of room. However, it doesn't really mix and match with a lot of the other eras. And also with some of these, like the 19 teens and the Regency specifically, I don't actually know which dress I want to bring yet. And so part of what we're going to be doing in our packing today is seeing which costume maybe fits the best in the limited space and the limited weight that I have, because that is really where I'm most concerned. Because this suitcase right here, if you fill it all the way up, it not only weighs more than 20 kilograms, it weighs more than 50 pounds. And 50 pounds is the US weight limit, which is more than the 20 kilograms allotted by Ryanair. So we're gonna have to be really, really careful not to overfill this suitcase and maybe choose some lighter garments. Also, it's summer, so we want lightweight because, you know, we don't want to be sweating. And so I'm going to be selecting a lot of these costumes due to the weight and the size that they take up, and also what sort of headwear and footwear I wear with them. Now, some of these accessories may be different than what I would normally wear with these costumes because, again, we are packing with the intention of fitting all of this in the suitcase. So let's go ahead and get started by loading the suitcase with the things that we cannot compromise on, like corsetry and some of the other undergarments. And as we go through, I am also going to try on some of these costumes so that we can decide what fits, because especially for the 19 teens, I have a lot of old 19 teens costumes and I don't know what necessarily fits the best still. And that way we can decide what all's going in this suitcase. So I have a whole pile of undergarments here, and while corsets are really like a non-negotiable, frankly. I would argue that padding and petticoats can be negotiated in at least some circumstances, potentially using one type of pad for a different era. Like, for example, if I can't fit both of these pads, which are for Outlander and for the Bustle, and that goes on top of the lobster tail bustle over here, which is a non-negotiable. If I can't fit this pad as well, I can probably get by with using this for both. It's not going to be the best, but it will be better than nothing and better than exceeding my suitcase allowance. So the other thing also are petticoats. You want to think about what petticoats could be used for multiple items. And it's kind of interesting with this span of eras because I think that there is some play that can happen. Like, I think that I could probably even get away with wearing an Edwardian petticoat for Regency. They are both like strapped style petticoats, but Regency typically starts below the bust, whereas Edwardian goes over the bust and has more to the straps, I would say. I am hoping that, frankly, I can use my Hobbit skirt as petticoats. Or the other option is that my Hobbit outfit doesn't have to be the exact Hobbit outfit. I can kind of play around with things here, and maybe there's a different petticoat that goes better with multiple things that would serve fine for the Hobbit outfit instead of this skirt. So we just have to play around with stuff. Again, some of these though are non-negotiables. You need this for Bustle. There's really no way to cheat that if we're doing a lobster tail era bustle, which I am. Corsets, you need the proper corset because otherwise your dress is just not gonna fit. So although these don't take up a lot of room, they do weigh a fair amount because of the boning in them, unfortunately. One thing that is absolutely imperative when packing for a big costume trip like this is making an extensive list of everything that you need for every single ensemble that you're going to wear. So what I've done here is I've written out which costume this is, what day I'm wearing it, and then all of the components that go in that costume, and then gone on to the next one and done the same thing. This one's the Bustle, that's why it takes the most, and over here, and over here, and over here, over here, over here, except there's a little problem here because I don't know which 19 teens dress I'm wearing, and I don't really know which Regency dress I'm wearing. And although the Regency dresses are basically the same, it's just dress and then all of the different undergarments. The 19 teens dress, that's going to involve different things for each garment. So let's go try on some costumes. So this is the Titanic deck dress. This is the one that I most want to wear because we are going to Cobe and the Titanic Museum. And also, this doesn't involve any hat whatsoever because she doesn't wear a hat in the movie. This is a movie cosplay in case you don't know Titanic's like intricacies of costumes, considering this is not one that's as well known. This was actually the first Titanic cosplay that I ever made. I'm still very happy with it. That said, it is definitely tight right here through the bust. Now it's just hooks and bars. And so I'm kind of thinking that I can cheat the overlap closure. Like it's supposed to overlap quite a bit here design wise, but I think that if I move the bars, I mean, yes, there's the potential for a little bit of scarring on the silk, but if I move the bars over by that inch at the top and like less than an inch as we go down, I think that'll be fine. It fits at the waist, it fits everywhere else. It's really lightweight. It's not the coolest. I'm a little worried about temperature in Ireland. It's not the coolest because this is, I think, like a rayon, you know, long sleeve. And so temperature wise, it's a little bit warmer than some of my other teens era stuff. But if we're in the museum, ideally that should be air conditioned. I assume we will also be outside for at least some of it. But I think we're gonna do this. I'm gonna move these bars and put this back on. And this is so much lighter than my other teens options. Well, at least than one of my other teens options. I do want to try on one other teens option just because I haven't worn it since like, I want to say 2014, could have been 2015. I wore it once. You'll see it in a moment because I'll put it on, assuming that it still fits and that I can put it on myself because I think it might have a back closure, which is, I guess, another reason maybe not to do that one. But in any case, I think we're going to go with this one. I'm going to mark where those bars should move to, and I'm not gonna wear the shoes that go with this cosplay. A, they're terribly uncomfortable, and B, I lost a rosette on one of them when I wore this on, I think, the Queen Mary or something like that. And then C, I want my shoes to do dual duty. So most likely what I'm gonna do is I'm going to wear these shoes for both this and for my bustle outfit. I'm gonna take a look. Oh God, there is a spider web in this shoe. That's new. Never seen that before. Clearly haven't worn this in a while. These are not the most comfortable shoes, which is why I don't tend to go for these, and I haven't done Edwardian in a while. But I do want to see what this would look like with the Renoir button boots. Obviously they are larger to pack, but they are far more comfortable than these shoes, which is why I wear them all the time for Victorian. They are what goes with the bustle dress that I'm bringing, but I don't know that they would go with this. So let's go ahead, move these bars, try on those shoes with this, and also, just for kicks, try on the other 19 Teens dress that I've only worn once and haven't worn in over a decade. So this is the other dress. Sorry, I know you are not getting to see all of it here. I cannot tell if it still fits because I can't do up the back of it by myself. I managed to do this far up when I had it turned around to the front, and then I turned it and stuck my arms in the sleeves, but I can't get any higher without assistance. And considering really I want to wear the Titanic one anyway, and I don't know if this really actually fits, I'm gonna go with that one. But it's good to know that it seems like this potentially fits and that I could wear it if I have an evening teens event that I need to go to. I started this in 2012, I think it was, and then finished it sometime later. Again, I don't remember if that was like, I want to say 2015. 2015 sounds right, because I think it was right after I moved into this house that I finished it. But hey, it's been over a decade, haven't worn it since then, and it still works. I wore it to a Downton Abbey like season preview event, and that's the only time it's ever been worn. Not too shabby, and it's made out of a silk sari with a beautiful border, and I think it might have been the first time I had ever worked with silk when I had first started in 2012. So good to know that it's at least still decent, but it's not coming with me to Ireland unless changing those bars goes horribly wrong. So let's go sew those bars into their new positions, try it back on with some shoes, and hopefully that will be what I am wearing to Ireland. Okay, I did move all of them over, but I think this hook is also coming off, this one right here, and so it's pulling and we're still seeing the bar right there. So I need to fix that, but the rest of it is looking a lot better. I do also have the shoes on right now. I looked in the mirror briefly. I've got the boot on my right foot and the Astoria, like just pump, American Duchess pump on my left foot, and the boot does not go with this outfit whatsoever. So I think we're gonna have to make do with the Astorias for both this and for bustle, because I know that those can do dual duty. Like, yes, they're not right for bustle, but they're better than nothing, and they're in the right color scheme, so I think they will be fine. If I wind up with miraculous room, then maybe I will also bring the boot. But I doubt that that's going to happen. Anyway, at least now we have sorted our teens look and we don't have to have room for a hat in here. The only hat I'm bringing, I think, is going to be my Bustle Era hat, which is approximately this big and flat. So yay, that will be super, super easy to pack. And I think, honestly, for the Regency dress, I want to wear my purple dress. This one right here. That's what I want to wear. It is heavier, but it doesn't necessarily take up more room, even though it's actually two pieces with the underdress and the overdress. That is the one that I really want to wear because it's just the most different. Like, the rest of my Regency dresses are pretty much white. I do have one navy one, but I've already decided that one's not the one to bring. And yeah, so I really want to wear the purple. We're going to try and fit the purple in there, but let's go ahead and put everything in the suitcase now that we've figured out our teens wear and see which Regency dress fits and how many shoes I can get in this, and also if I can manage both petticoats for the bustle or if I'm going to have to scrimp and only do one petticoat. So it is looking pretty full, which does have me a bit nervous because there are some things that I would like to have in there that are not yet in there. And also there's one thing that's an absolute requirement, which is the chemise for my Renaissance dress, but that is in the laundry. So I can't put that in there for this test pack. It can pack up really small because it's a very, very lightweight cotton. But I really want to put the correct petticoat for the chemise a la Reine in there. And I'd love to have the other bustle petticoat. That's not yet in there. And I'd also like to have the Hobbit cape. I don't need it. It's very lightweight, but I assume it will take up some room. And obviously we also don't have that bustle pad in there. That's the one that goes over the lobster tail. I could probably get away with doing that other one instead of that, but I'd love to be able to have that. I might try putting it in a space saver bag or something like that, see if that's worth doing. The other one is just like crunched up really small somewhere. I think it's totally buried actually by now. I also don't have some of the hard items in there, including this little hat, which can very easily just fit right on top of the bonnet there. And frankly, I can probably put the other harder items. This is my Titanic comb, or what I use for my Titanic comb. This is the headband that I used for the Renaissance stuff. I could actually probably put that inside the bonnet before I put this hat on it, and that'll give it some protection. And then I'll probably put something over the top of that too to give it a little more padding. The lobster tail does wind up going on the very top too to give more padding. The other thing, of course, that I have not done yet to this is weigh it. So why don't we go ahead and do a test weigh and see how that goes. We have our scale on and it even seems to be defaulting to kilograms. We'll see if you can actually see this. I don't know that you'll be able to see it. Oh shoot, this is really hard to pick up like this. Oh God. 15. Okay, it's 15. I'm gonna do it double checking that I'm doing this right, but I think it's 15. Okay, actually, I did it properly when I was like holding this right and facing it and all of that. And it's showing me somewhere between 18 and 19, which is really close to the limit for Ryanair, which makes me a little scared considering this doesn't have everything in it yet. And I ideally had been hoping that I could get a tripod in here as well. I can fit it. Like, that's not a problem. The tripod is definitely gonna send this overweight, so I don't think that's gonna work. This has me a bit nervous. Also, some Ryanair apparently is 23 kilograms. I don't know why my flight, I'm pretty sure, is 20, but I'm gonna do more research and make sure that mine is 20 and not 23, because 23 would make me feel a whole lot better. By the way, I feel like I've missed telling you a couple of key things about how I pack, which one of the biggest ones is that I roll everything when I'm packing. So I kind of start to fold it and then roll it up really tightly, because that way it gets rid of a lot of the excess like air that is kind of trapped in when you're folding something. And then I also kind of put things inside of other things. So first off, my suitcase, because it's a soft side suitcase, it has kind of the bars that go through the back of the suitcase, and I will put rolls like in between there. And I will also put like smaller items like a camisole or a fichu or something like that. Like, I will roll those up really, really tightly and kind of tuck them around where they can go. Or like around the bottom of the bonnet, I kind of tucked things under the bonnet so that it would be all nice and tucked in. Inside of shoes or boots, you can put all sorts of things. Like my stockings are going to go in there because I haven't added the stockings yet. So everything's going to kind of go in all of the little nooks and crannies and get rid of all the space, which is why the space was not really my concern. The weight is the concern. As far as the weight goes, I am intending to see if I can like chat with Ryanair to figure out why my flight says 20 kilograms and other checked bags say 23 kilograms. I did look up where if you are over like a kilogram, each kilogram is 13 euros. So like, it's not the end of the world, I guess, if I'm overweight, but I'd rather not, because I'd rather not spend a whole bunch of more euros on extra weight in my bag. So we're gonna figure that out. And I don't know if I will have an update for you in this video because I have to contact Ryanair first. And hopefully I'll be able to figure out before I actually get to the airport to get on that flight. My British Airways flight to get to the UK in the first place, that is 23 kilograms. So it's my flight from London to Ireland that is the question here. It is truly amazing and scary how quickly weight adds up, because I have now put all of the stockings and the hairpiece and the wig that I'm bringing in here. I don't think there's anything else that I've put in here besides like the couple of really small hair accessories, the Titanic comb, the belt for the Titanic outfit, the like netting poofy stuff that goes in like a bun form. That's the only other stuff that I've put in here besides the stockings and then the wig and the hairpiece. And we're up to 21.1 kilograms, which is not good. Now, that said, one of my wonderful attendees on my trip, Nicole, who is also going to London ahead of our castle stay, has actually offered that if I have a kilogram or two of excess stuff, she is checking 2 bags. So she gets a lot more room in there. And so she said that I could put something in her bag from London to Springfield Castle. So that is super, super generous of Nicole. And I think I might have to take her up on that because I still don't have the petticoat that is on under this form. I still don't have that in this bag. And I really want to bring that for my chemise a la reine. Now there is one thing that might save me here, and that is that I bought this bag on Amazon a few days ago, and I just did a test pack with this yesterday, and this is a personal item bag, not even an overhead bin rolling carry-on bag. This fits as a personal item underneath the seat. And I should have filmed the test pack because it was crazy how much this fit. I literally got 4 dresses, like modern type dresses, but I wear, you know, larger, fuller skirt dresses. I got 4 dresses, a pair of walking shoes, a pair of sandals, 4 pairs of bike shorts, and 6 pairs of underwear in here, plus my headphones, a book, an electric hand fan. I think that might have been everything, but like a lot in this little backpack. And I still actually had this section free, which this section, one of the reasons that I really went for this bag in the first place was this section actually Velcros and clips off separately so that it can be worn as a crossbody. So like I can use this part as my purse, because I hadn't obviously put purse items in here, but I can put this part as my purse and then put additional stuff in here besides just like headphones, etc. that I need for the plane. And that will give me more room in my rolling carry-on bag. And the reason that that is cool is that one thing that I might do with something that is currently in the check bag is move it into the carry-on bag, because I was not planning to wear any of my historical costumes in London. However, then I got this harebrained idea. I am going to see Titanic as my second West End show in London. What if I wear the Titanic deck dress? Like, that would be really cool. And so then if I can fit the Titanic stuff into my rolling carry-on instead of in this bag, that will lighten this load considerably. And then I will have it with me, considering it's on like day 2 of my London trip. I always like to pack things in a carry-on bag that are going to be used right away. You know, I can't really do that between London and Ireland, I don't think, just because I don't think I'm going to be able to zhuzh things around like that. But I do prefer to do that when possible. And so I would want the Titanic outfit in my carry-on, and it would take some of the weight out of the checked bag. So once I finish packing up the carry-on, because it's only partially packed right now, I think I might try and zhuzh things around, maybe put a little bit of clothing in here and just see what might be possible. So I figured that I would weigh the blue petticoat separately just to see how much more weight that is going to add and how much ideally the Titanic outfit, which, you know, is made of silk and doesn't weigh very much, will wind up having to remove. Now, there are a couple of other components to the Titanic outfit, like the petticoat and the corset. I still don't think they're going to weigh very much. So let's see here. I can't hold it up high enough to get, okay. 0.76 kilograms. That's not great when we're already at 21.1. Let's see if we can remove 2 kilograms from the suitcase. Also, it's again not a very big deal if currently the suitcase has 22 kilograms in it, because the British Airways allowance is 23. So that is fine. I can maybe put something in Nicole's bag and or move things around into my carry-on or the backpack when I get to London before I leave for Ireland. But yeah, this is a heavy petticoat because, you know, it's ruffled and it's made out of cotton sateen. But it just looks so good under the chemise à la reine that I really want to wear it. This is my very depressed cookie who has been paranoid about the fact that suitcases have been out now for like 2 weeks. But I just tried to move things around in this bag to find the Titanic stuff. The Titanic stuff is way too buried in there. It's somewhere deep within this bag. So we're going to leave that actually in there. We're just going to make this 22 kilograms for now with putting the petticoat in on top. And if I wear it in London, great. I will dig it out at that point. But I think we're just going to leave this until we get to London. And then from London to Ireland, I will take something out hopefully, or give something to Nicole. So with our petticoat added in, let's give our suitcase one final way and see what the damage is. It's jumping all over the place. It went from 21.46 to 21.7 to 21.9 and then back down. So it's somewhere in the 21 point something kilograms, which I'm actually a little bit surprised about because that petticoat should have made it like 22. But I'm not mad at it. It means less to zhuzh around when I get to London. So hopefully it won't be too bad. But packing a suitcase that is only 20 kilograms for, what is it, 7 costumes, 6 costumes, whatever it is that I've put in here, for a plus size and tall person, might actually be impossible after all. We're so close, honestly. We are so close. And if Ryanair had any normal sort of baggage allowance like that 23 kilograms, then we would be fine. I still do need to ask them about why it is only 20 and not 23, see if maybe I can just pay like an upgrade fee to the 23, but I keep forgetting to chat with them during their business hours. So hopefully I'll have that sorted by the time I actually get on that flight. At least I will have a week at that point before I get on the flight that I will be on the same time zone that they are. So yeah, that is going to be it for this packing video. It is definitely a challenge, but it's totally possible to get it under 23. That part, not a problem at all. And size-wise, it's totally possible in one suitcase, which is great. The problem with these suitcases is that they hold way more weight than you're actually allotted. But I am so excited for my trip. I think this is going to be an amazing time. I cannot wait. I can't wait to meet a bunch of you. I can't wait to hang out with a bunch of you. I can't wait to dress up in cool costumes and explore a castle and explore Ireland. This is going to be so freaking fantastic, and I cannot even put into words just how excited I am. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video, and hopefully it is helpful to you if you are going on a costumed trip. Obviously, if you are going on a non-costumed trip, it's way easier to pack in a suitcase like this, regardless of what size you are, and really regardless of what your fashion sense is as well. And it's also completely possible to pack your normal clothes in a carry-on, because I actually do that quite frequently when I travel, so it should not be any problem getting the last few items into that bag as well. Also, that backpack is pretty cool. I'll have it linked down below in the description. I'm hoping that it works out great for this trip. It seems like it will, and it's got really great reviews. So yeah, good addition to my travel accoutrement. But that is going to be it for me for this video. If you liked this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos, not really like this for me, but maybe about the Ireland trip for me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do post videos here on YouTube at least once a week, usually with sewing vlogs out on Tuesdays, and sometimes with additional costuming or sewing related content out on Saturdays, but I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you'd like to help support all of the work that I do on this channel, or if you'd like to pay for that little bit of extra baggage allowance, I do have a link to my Patreon and my Ko-fi down in the description below, or you can send me a super thanks or join my YouTube channel memberships right here on YouTube below the video. I would also like to take this time to thank all of my absolutely freaking amazing patrons, without whom none of this would be possible, particularly my patrons at the Romantic, Victorian, and Edwardian level tiers, who are Jean, Kim, Audra, Janet, Rowan, Deborah, Robin, Nurse Anita, Linda, Jen, Dale, Judd, Joan, Nick and Steven, Eileen, and Jacob. Thank you all so, so much, and thank you all for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!